back to New Zealand, and turned on the radio, and then I was able to hear things like, you know, shit and bitch.
Oh, you're right.
Like you would never get that here. This country is very like, and you don't say dick, you don't say, like, there's just, language things, topic things you just don't discuss
Yeah.
on American radio. It's
Yeah.
just, like, I think New Zealand radio is just a lot more embracing, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we get away with saying shit. I mean, I don't tend to, but and the F word is okay. That we draw the line at
Yes,
some. But
it's okay now. When
well,
did
yeah,
that happen?
if a guest says it, like we don't encourage it, but if a guest says it, then we tend to leave it in. But most guests don't because they're on their best behaviour. But no, I've heard it on RNZ.
That's hilarious. I promise I won't say fuck on radio.
Okay, that'd be good. Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you your usual decent introduction, and I'll just start in and say g'day.
Perfect.
All right. Hello, Washington, D.C. How are you, Emma G?
I am Washington, D.C. I'm well.
Oh, sorry.
How are you?
I love that. It's been a while. And look, before we get to this song of yours, this Christmas song,
Yes.
How's your life? Because you were relentlessly touring, building up a following across the US, and I'm thinking you wouldn't have been doing much of that in 2020.
Yeah, so it's funny. As the saying goes, champions make adjustments. Instead of doing the whole touring thing, I decided before the pandemic even hit, I decided to release a new single every 6 weeks during 2020. So That's what I've done. I have released a new song every 6 weeks that's been fully produced with an accompanying video. I've also released acoustic, unamplified recordings as well on Spotify and things, and with an album that dropped, I think, about maybe a month ago. But I've been running 2 podcast series. The first one was called Real Talk with Emma G, where I got to talk with people like everyone from Billy Allsbrooks, who's a motivational speaker here in the States, to Ken Capisi was one of my guests. I did an interview with Tony Porter of the A Call to Men Association, at the same time as talking to Richie Hardcore, who is a huge advocate for positive masculinity over in New Zealand. So been doing a lot of things like that. I've also recently just released my first book. I've started coaching using music to empower youth around the country as they try to struggle through living in quarantine, and life as a teenager is hard enough, let alone being in isolation. So I'm never short of things to do, basically.
I'm dizzy listening to that list. Yes, your book was called My Life, My Songs, My Healing.
Yes.
And just a brief explanation of what that's about.
So it's literally my discography, but going deeper into the stories behind each song. So every song that I released with Static Era back when I was living in Auckland, to every single I've released as a solo artist to date, there's a story behind it. So it goes into the stories behind the songs, how the songs helped me heal and grow and thrive, and how they serve me now, basically. And that ties in, perfectly with my coaching now, because again, songwriting has been the tool that I've utilized to help me stay alive, basically, overcome drug addiction, and heal from the traumas that I've experienced in my life. So given that a lot of teenagers are going through it at the moment, I want to help them do the same thing, and harness the power of music to help them feel more empowered, more resilient, more hopeful.
And you would have been worried about COVID-19 because you live with a health condition that's required, I think, 10 brain surgeries from memory.
Just 10, no big deal. I think, thankfully hydrocephalus is not a respiratory condition, so I shouldn't be too bad. I don't know. hydrocephalus it's such a new illness, whatever, that we don't know how anything will affect it. Technically I should have spina bifida and I should be in a wheelchair, but I
And
don't. You know,
you
like
don't.
I'm quite the opposite. And so I just, I've got to be as careful as anybody. I am as careful as anybody. And I've, really taken the time to, uh, harness my alone time to be creative and to do things that are healthy for myself. Touring, as rock and roll and fun as it is exhausting. This year alone, I've lost 45 pounds, which comes to 23 kilos. I've done the
Gee,
math.
wow.
And yeah, so it's like this year, as much as like it's, COVID is dangerous for everybody. We don't know how dangerous it is for me specifically, but I've chosen to focus on what I can do that's positive for myself, as
Where
opposed
did
to
that
freak out.
where did that weight loss come from? Self-discipline or high
Both.
anxiety or what?
Not anxiety. I gave up drinking, as one thing. Not that I was much of a drinker anyways, but even my one or two glasses a week of red wine, I've stopped. Um, where did it come from? Better eating, surrounding myself with better, more positive people who are in alignment with my goals, and who are also ambassadors for healthy lifestyles, and taking up running and getting better disciplined in just how I'm treating myself, basically. Like, me, I'm very cheesy when it comes to my one-liners and my ridiculous sayings, but I think one of the sayings that's really sort of stuck with me this year is that this year I want to love myself to health, not to
Okay.
death.
No, it's nice. We love myself to health. We've actually heard about the benefits of red wine in moderation this morning, so you might like to
This
rethink
is
that
true. I
at some
mean,
stage.
yeah. Don't tempt me.
What sort of a Christmas are you going to have, Emma G?
Well, normally I go to Iowa every year, but everyone's numbers are spiking, so I'm staying at home. And I'll be, spending some time with a friend and his family, and um, yeah, just hanging out with my cat, enjoying
Hanging
food.
out
I
with
don't
the
know.
cat.
I'm not a big Christmas person, anyways, which is why this song is so weird for me. Um, I like Christmas has always been kind of a weird family. Oh shoot. A weird time of stress and you know family drama, and so living in America where it's no longer summer at Christmas time, and there's a huge family aspect to it here now that I am resonating towards. I don't know. I just Christmas. I'm learning to like Christmas, so I'm not too phased about what this year. It's just another day, but this time I get to, spend it with people other than my own immediate family.
Your approach to business has always been on this coha basis.
Yes.
You've trusted your support system and your audience. Christmas is all about giving,
Hmm.
coha, in a sense. You'll be looked after at Christmas and in the new year too.
I assume so. I hope so. We'll see. It's if you give people the opportunity to love you, they will love you. And that's been basically my ethos. I mean, that is the ethos behind Koha. It's yet to let me down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, whatever being looked after means, I will be working with my clients through the Christmas holiday, um, and continue to give as much as I receive, because that's what it's all about for me. You
You're
know,
also, I don't have time to ask you much about Krav Maga, but that's the
oh,
Israeli self. That's
Krav
the
Maga,
Israeli.
yeah,
Uh, is that how you say it? Krav Maga.
Krav Maga, yeah.
That's the Israeli self-defense method, isn't it? You're teaching that too.
No, I don't teach. I assist. So DJ Stevens of Krav Maga CDK runs his own school, and during COVID has transitioned, or not just transitioned, he's added some new things into his program, into his school offerings, that has included a 6-week fit and healthy challenge, and that's what I'm assisting with. He's the Krav Maga guru. I'm literally just helping with a side, like the appetizer portion of what he's offering. So, but yeah, that's been, I mean, Krav Maga has been something that I've got into back in 2013 when I was still living in Auckland, and it's a really wonderful self-defense system that's relatively quick and easy to learn and implement because it's based on instinctual movement. So I'm a huge advocate for it, but I'm not in any way, shape, or form trained enough to teach at all. But I'm very big on the healthy living aspect of things, and that's something that I am passionate about. So, yeah.
Okay, so you're dangerous, but you're not that dangerous. What are you looking?
Dangerous, but not that dangerous. Thanks.
What are you looking for? A couple more things, and then the song, or one more thing. What are you looking forward to in 2021? I mean, maybe being able to get home again. What's your New Year plan?
My New Year plan. So next year, instead of releasing a new single every 6 weeks, I'll be releasing one every 3 months. I am hopeful that, I mean, the vaccine just was introduced into the country 2 days ago. Howard University here in DC was the first place in the country to receive the vaccine, which was awesome. So I'm hopeful that we are going to find some semblance of sanity here. Obviously, next year, Biden will be our Prime Minister, Kamala Harris will be our Vice President. So I'm looking forward to a political rebirth of sorts. That sort of, again, has some semblance of normalcy for me. I, on a musical front, want to be... we'll see what happens. If I can come back to New Zealand and go on tour again, abso-freaking-lutely, I will be there. But I'm continuing to coach, my young people as we navigate what this entire year has meant for them. And I will be releasing my second book sometime in the next year as well. So, yeah. And of course, my podcast is booked up until April. So we'll see how that goes. And who knows? One of my friends called me like the New Zealand version of Oprah. So we'll see.
The New Zealand version of Oprah.
I'm not claiming anything. I'm just doing what I do because the world needs more love.
And the world needs more big thinking like that. Okay. Would you do the honors and introduce this Christmas single of yours to people, please?
Of course. Okay, everyone. My name is Emma G. This is my first and only ever Christmas song with Mason McCormick called... oh my God, what's it called again? You Can Count on Me This Christmas.
Thank you. All the best. Happy Christmas to you. See you in the new year.
You too.
Brilliant. Thanks, Emma G. That's lovely.
You're hilarious. Thank you. That was awesome.
It was good. All right. And then the song will play and they'll all hear it.
Perfect. Okay, man. Well, yeah, Paula, thank you so much for